The story begins with the girl Tessa, and today is her first day of college that is a bit far away from her house. Her mother and boyfriend decide to drop her to the college dorm. There, she introduced with two girls, Steph and Tristan. These girls are very outgoing and talkative. Her mother smells some weed and walks out of there, so Tessa follows her and assures her not to worry that she will manage everything. Her mother feels proud of her and wish her well before leaving the college. Tessa's boyfriend, Noah, also leaves after giving her a cute kiss. Later in her room, Steph asks if she freaked out her mother. She thinks her brother is cute, but Tessa corrects her that Noah is her boyfriend, not brother. The next morning, she wakes up and excitedly walks to her classroom, where she meets a guy, Landon. He is an English major, and Tessa is in economics. She looks very excited and enthusiastic for her classes. Back in her dorm, she comes back after taking a nice bath and finds a guy sitting inside the room, reading a book calmly. She was shocked to see him and ask him to leave, but he tells her not to flatten herself because he is not looking. Steph arrives there and informs that he is her friend, Harden. Steph asks her to come with them at the party, but the guy is sure that she won't join. Before leaving, he tells her the ending of the book she was reading called Great Gatsby, hence spoiling it. Next day, in a coffee shop, Tessa sees Harden again. This makes her very uncomfortable, while both catches each other's eyes for a moment. Harden smiles and leaves from there. Later in library, she is approached by Steph and asked to go on a party that night. At first, she insists on not going, but decides to change things a bit. Tessa chooses a dress that Steph thinks is a bit too formal. They go to the party, where everyone is drinking and having fun. There, Tessa is introduced to all Steph's friends. They ask her to drink. At first, she hesitates, but ends up drinking a shot right after a girl, Molly, from the group talks rude about her. They decide to play the game, Truth or Dare. Tessa chooses Truth, and she is being asked where the craziest place she had romantic moment was. She decides to pass the question and chooses Dare instead. Molly suspects and asks if she is a virgin. She gets uncomfortable. They give her Dare to kiss Harden. Harden comes and asks if she wants to do it, but she is done with the game and walks away. She calls her boyfriend, but he kind of scolds her for drinking and partying. She ends the call. Later, she walks into an empty storage room and looks at the books. She is again approached by Harden, who asks her what she was looking for. Tessa is worried if he is drunk, but he assures her that he does not drink, just like her. He tells her that this is his room while holding her hand and asks if their dare is still on. They were almost about to kiss, but she leaves after saying that she cannot do it. While she walks back to her room, she gets texts from her boyfriend Noah, and he is disappointed. Next day, she joins the class and meets Landon and sits with him. Harden was also there. When Professor asks question about a romance book, he tells, "Love is just a transaction. Everyone is hardwired to desire. Present the correct set of desirable traits, which can turned on and off." On the other hand, Tessa contradicts him and says, "The women rejected the man in the book when treated poorly in old era, which was just amazing." This goes on for a good minute. After the class, Harden meets and tells her that it was exciting and leaves. She starts to complain to Landon about Harden's arrogance. Right there, she is surprised to hear that Harden is related to Landon. His mother is dating Harden's father, and they barely tolerate each other. Next day, she is getting a coffee and gets approached by Harden. He wants to start over and be friend with Tessa since Steph is their mutual friend. Harden wants to show a place to her, but she wants to keep her distance. She almost walk away, but then stop and decide to go on with Harden. They go a few miles away in his car and stop in a woods. They walk a little further, where Tessa's eye catches a big lake. He reveals that this is his favorite place. He takes off his clothes and dives into the water. He insists her to dive into the water and offer her his t-shirt. He looks away while she wears it. Then, he slowly takes her into the water and start enjoying. Tessa asks him about the person whom he loves the most, to which he reveals himself. He asks about her boyfriend and gets to know that Noah is a high school student who loves and respects her so much. Harden was looking at her like she was some kind of forbidden diamond he had found. He asked her that he wanted to be her friend, but she explains that they can never be, and they start to kiss each other passionately. He again moves away his eyes so that she can change, but Tessa instead touches him, and they start to have romantic moments. Every touch she experiencing was making her breathe faster. Later, they go into a bar. Tessa asks him about his past life, but he decides to pass on the question. She asks why does not he believe in love because of what happened in class, but he tells her not to believe everything he says and makes Tessa laugh. Meanwhile, Molly and another friend of Harden comes and joins him, to which he starts to act a bit odd. Later, he reveals to Tessa that all of it was just fun, but he is not dating with her, even though Tessa was about to tell his boyfriend about them. Disappointed, she leaves from there, and Harden also looks very sad. Back in her dorm in the morning, she finds Harden sitting next to her, but this was just a dream. Later, she finds Noah standing outside with flowers. She couldn't could not believe that he was there. That night, Tessa and Noah joins a party, where Steph and her group decide to play the suck and blow game. When Tessa's turn comes, she does not participate. Noah acts a bit protective, and Harden comes in the way and start to fight. Harden leaves right after that. Later at night, Tessa was watching a movie with Noah, but she looks concerned about something. At midnight, she gets a call from Landon and goes to meet him. There, she finds that Harden and Landon had a fight, and he mentioned her name too, so Landon thought she might be able to help him. She gets to know that he is upset about his father getting married to Landon's mother, while her mother lives in a dump back in London. He breaks the bottle intentionally, and Tessa gets injured trying to pick it up. He takes her to his room and apologizes for how he treated her earlier. Harden explains that he is a mess, to which Tessa also thinks that she is also a mess. Seeing this, they both start to have small romantic moment. One thing lead to another, and she ends up sleeping throughout the night in his room. In the morning, she walks to Noah, who is really worried about her. Right after he sees Harden standing there and figures out what is really going on, he leaves the spot immediately with heavy heart. She walks back to her dorm, devastated. She tells about her breakup to Steph, and she comforts her. Tessa feels like she lost her best friend. What she was feeling could not be described in simple words. She was very sad throughout her classes and trying to talk to Noah. One day, she goes to see Harden and decide to talk. He did not expect to see her. She starts to describe how her father left when she was just 10-year-old. Her mother could not bear this pain. When she was taking care for her, Noah was there to help. Tessa tells Harden, Noah is her best friend, but you are much more. One day, Harden makes Tessa stay before the library closes. He reads a book while she is lying on his lap. Security finds them and go after them. They laugh while running away. This was going to be a memorable moment for both of them. Their relation was getting noticed by their friends. Harden would not even wait for her class and come inside and call her beautiful. One day, Tessa noticed Harden was writing something in the notebook. She wants to see it, but he skipped the topic by teasing her. They start to have romantic moments. Suddenly, her mother opens the door and finds them in revealing position. This was enough to make her super angry. She starts to accuse her roommate. She thinks Tessa will ruin her life because of that boy. Tessa starts to argue and tell her mother that she will live her life the way she wants to, not the way her mother wants to mold it. This makes her mother upset and emotional. Before leaving, she cut off Tessa and tells, one day, this boy will break her heart. She later talks to Landon about this situation. He suggests her to be careful because he thinks Harden is complicated. Later, Harden takes Tessa to a place which belongs to a friend of his father's who is residing in Italy at the moment. Harden suggests to live together in this place because her mother cuts her off, so Harden had to do something. They both move into this place and start to live a happy relationship. They spend most of the time together, laugh, and enjoy the small moments. Harden still cannot believe that she belongs to him now. He believes that he does not deserve her, while Tessa believes nothing will change the way she feels about him. Later, they go into wedding party of Harden and Landon's parents. Both meets with Landon's mother, Karen, and Harden's father. They are pleased to meet Tessa. Seeing his father with another woman makes Harden really upset, to which Tessa tries to calm him. Harden's father starts to give speech in front of all the people. Even though he is praising Harden, Harden tells Tessa that this is not the father who he grew up with. Even though he has changed, something never changed. He starts to explain a scenario. One day at a pub, his father messes with the wrong guys. When they came back for the payback at his house, he wasn't at home, so they started misbehaving with Harden's mother. Harden was little. He could not stop them from doing something to his real mother. To make him feel better, Tessa takes Harden to dance floor. They start dancing while looking each other into the eyes. They return to their room, where Tessa decides to have a romantic moment. One day, Tessa is being looked with jealousy from Molly, and later she starts to ask her about her boyfriend. She wants to know more about Harden, but Tessa shows less interest to tell her anything. Later, Molly texts something on Harden's phone that makes Tessa super suspicious of Harden. When she asks him about what he is hiding, he tells him to trust him and there is nothing to hide. She is anxious and wants Harden to call. One of her friend texts her and tells her to meet at Videodrome, that he knows where Harden is. She gets in the car and finds Zed there, who tells her that he might be at Blind Bob's. There she finds Steph and her friends. She reveals that she had been living with Harden off campus. Molly reveals that something is going on, but not what she thinks. Everyone there warns Molly not to tell, but she shows her a video of the day when they first played Truth and Dare. Harden had been given a dare to make her fall in love with her. After this happens, he would just turn it off. She could not believe her eyes, and she is totally shocked. Harden tells her that is not the truth. It was all before he knew her. His feeling were all true. She leaves, not wasting any more time. At this moment, Tessa is feeling loneliest in the whole world. She goes back to her house and meets her mother, who who she hugs. She does not want to reveal what really happened, but she was there to say that she was sorry. Tessa also expressed her love toward her and later walk away to meet Noah, who was wondering, why was she there? She explains that she never wanted to hurt him. He forgives her, and they start to laugh. Tessa goes back to the university and start to write an email to change her major from economics to English. Meanwhile, Harden could not get over their separation and starts to cry, imagining all the moments they spend together. Tessa gets an interview invitation regarding her internship in the Vance Publishing. Tessa was sitting in a lecture where she was given an envelope by the teacher. She said Harden gave it to her and explains how this was more for Tessa than herself. Tessa sees that Harden attached her pictures in his notebook. She also reads the literature that Harden wrote, where he explains, I read hundreds of novels and only thought love was just a fiction until I found my Elizabeth Bennet. I never thought I could be consumed totally by her. She hold my hands and lead me out of the darkness. I'm hers and she is mine. Lastly, he asks for forgiveness. She once asked who he loved most in the world. He reveals that it is Tessa, and the movie ends here. If you want to know the story further, comment below and hit the like button. If this video crossed 10K like, I would create next part of the video.